begin to get quiet. God of the faithless and God of the faithful, with doubt we come in loneliness, we wait silently, we pray expecting nothing, but wanting everything. God of the faithful and God of the faithless, you who speak in whispered silence, you whose reason is mystery, your order is infinite, remember we are finite and need words and reason. God of the faithless and God of the faithful, God in all forms and formless, who was and is and will be, hear us and turn. We're going to begin the service tonight with an arrangement of Kol Nidre on the cello, that will be sung 3 times by Hazanin Gael fairly shortly thereafter, but we want to get to that before the sun actually sets, so we're going to begin asking Megan Chartier to come up, and she is going to play an arrangement, so please just be quiet and listen to the beautiful sounds of the cello and the beautiful strains of Kol Nidre. Shakoach. Thank you. Beautiful. And puts us in the right frame of mind. We're about to be on page 204. I'm joined on the bima by many of our past presidents. There's a few in the congregation, if they'd come up at this time as well. Unless they really don't want to. Well, we would love to have you up here. Page 204. And we rise as the ark is opened. Bottom of 204.
Leshiva Shamala, Uleshiva Shamata, Aldat Hamakom Leatat Hakahal, Anumatiri Halali Mavayani, Leshiva Shamala, Uveshiva Shamata, Aldat Hamakom Bealdat Hakahal, Anumatiri Lehalel Imavayani, Veshiva Shamala, Uveshiva Shamata, Aldat Hamakom Bealdat Hakahal, Anumatiri Lehalel Imavayani. Kol Nidre,
switch hands.
Kol Nidre,
And our third time, still on page 205.
Kol Nidre, ויסלח לכל אדם בני ישראל, ולגר הגר בתוכם, כי לכל העם ישתגע, ויסלח לכל אדם בני ישראל, ולגר הגר בתוכם, כי לכל העם ישתגע. סלח נא לעולם הזה, כגודל חסדך, וכאשר נשאת לעם הזה ממצרים ביד הנה, ושם נאמר, ויאמר אדוני סלחתי יברך, ויאמר אדוני סלחתי יברך, ויאמר אדוני סלחתי יברך. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שהחיינו וקיימנו והחיינו לזמן הזה.
Please remain standing as the Baruch who's next, but a special thank you to all our past presidents, not just for sitting on the beam tonight, but for all the work you've done for our congregation over so many years. It is a blessing to have worked with all of you. Although I wasn't here when Karen was the president. But still, work with him a lot. Thank you again. Baruch Hu is on page 207. Thank you. 209.
ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה מרים ובני ישראל לחנו שירה בשמחה רבה ואמרו כולם מי כמוך באלוהים אדוני מי כמוך ופרוס עלינו שמחה שלומך, ברוכת אדוני, הפורש סוכת שלום, עלינו, ועל כל ישראל, ועל ירושלים.
For on this day of atonement shall be made for you to purify you from all your transgressions. In the presence of Adonai you shall be pure. Vayom hazeh in the middle of page 212.
Vayom hazeh yechater aleichem v'katerchem mikol chatoteichem mipnei Adonai titcharu yitkadah shnei rabbaim ve'ahoma yivrach yirtei ve'amit malchutei ve'chayechon uvyom echon u'vechayei kechol beit Yisrael Adon izman chariv v'yimeru amen yehi shnei rabbaim
For the private Amidah, pages 213 through 221. going to turn now to page 227, through the first three and the last stanza of Ki Hine Kachomer. Like clay in the hand of the potter, various artisans God is compared to, and how we are shaped by God.
Hine kachomer b'yad hayotzer berzoto margiv uberzoto mekatzer Henanavnu b'yad hachesed noser La brita
We'll conclude that one now. Here, we're about to go to page 232, but I want to remind people, I should have done this at the beginning, although more people here than there were at the beginning. A couple of reminders. Should there be an emergency, there are exits everywhere. The open door right there. Both wings of the bima, out the door by the elevator, and out the center doors where most of you came in, and down those two stairs. Also a reminder to please do, unless we're leaving the service, please leave your mask on. We do have a number of seniors and those who are immunocompromised who still wanted to come in person. All right, we will continue now on page actually 233. We rise for Shema Kol Nidre.
Shema Koleinu Adonai Eloheinu Who's Merachem Aleinu V'Kabel V'Rachamim U'Ratzon Et Tefilateinu Hashimeinu Adonai Elecha v'nashuva Kadesh Yameinu
You may be seated. We turn to page 234, Ki Anu Amecha.
Eloheinu, Eloheinu, Selah Avanu Mecha Olanu, Ha'amer Avanu, Ki Anu Amecha, Ve'ata Eloheinu, Anu Vanecha, Ve'ata Please rise. 235. Shanu, הטובים ולא שבה לנו, ואתה צדיק על כל עברינו, כי אמת עשית, ואנחנו הרשענו.
Page 237, the longer confessional, the Al-Khair. And for those who don't know the custom, we're taking our fists and beating it gently against our heart in the hopes that we will not miss the mark again this year, which is the Jewish translation of Al-Khair. Some people say transgression is sin, but missing the mark is kind of the most accurate translation. We'll do the whole first set of stanzas in Hebrew, and then we'll do the second in English, and then the third in Hebrew.
על-חטא שחטאנו לפניך באונס וברצון.
ועל-חטא שחטאנו לפניך בניגוד הלב.
על-חטא שחטאנו לפניך בבלי דעת.
ועל-חטא שחטאנו לפניך בביטוי שפתיים.
על-חטא שחטאנו לפניך בגילוי עריות.
ועל-חטא שחטאנו לפניך בגילוי מצרים.
על-חטא שחטאנו לפניך בדעת ובמרמה.
ועל-חטא שחטאנו לפניך בדיבור פה. ועל-חטא שחטאנו לפניך בעכור הלב.
על-חטא שחטאנו לפניך בבגידת זנות.
ועל-חטא שחטאנו לפניך בגילוי פה.
על-חטא שחטאנו לפניך בזלזול הורים ומורים.
ועל-חטא שחטאנו לפניך בזדון ובשגגה.
על-חטא שחטאנו לפניך בחוזק יד.
ועל-חטא שחטאנו לפניך בחילול השם.
על-חטא שחטאנו לפניך בטומאת שפתיים.
ועל-חטא שחטאנו לפניך בקדושת פה.
על-חטא שחטאנו לפניך ביצר הרע.
ועל-חטא
שחטאנו לפניך ביודעין ולא יודעים.
Cynicism. We've sinned against you by the way we do business. We've sinned against you by greed and oppressive interest. We've sinned against you in everyday conversation. We've sinned against you through condescension. We remain standing, and we now invite Leah Edelstein to come up. She will be singing the Max Janowski version of Avinu Malkeinu tonight. When she's done with that, Azmi Yael will sing the refrain, which we'll all join together. If Paul and Brian, as the ones closest to the ark, would mind opening for us.
Avinu Malkeinu, Shema Koleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chatanu Lefanecha. Avinu Malkeinu, V'tapeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Kalei Dever, V'cherev v'rav me'aleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Kalei Botzar u'mastim me'aleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Koveinu v'sefer chaim tovim. Avinu Malkeinu, Kadosh Aleinu, Kadosh Aleinu, Shana Tova, Shema Koleinu, Shema Koleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Kadosh Aleinu, Shana Tova. Avinu Malkeinu, Kadosh Aleinu, Kadosh Aleinu, Shana Tova, Shema Koleinu, Shema Koleinu, Shema Koleinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu.
Yehudi Shalem is on page 245. Closing our books for a few moments. People love dead Jews. That's my attention getter. Normally, a sermon, you might need a story or a visual aid, but I think that line is enough to capture anybody's attention. People love dead Jews. It's also the title of a book some of you have read by Dara Horn, better known as an author of fiction. In fact, the books A World to Come and A Guide for the Perplexed are two of my favorite Jewish novels ever. But this work of nonfiction, People Love Dead Jews, may be even more gripping. The premise of the book is that there are places all over the world who honor their dead Jews, their past Jewish communities, and you can visit them. Some of you, I'm sure, have been to the Anne Frank House in Amsterdam. Some of you I know, because you were with me, have been to Krakow, Poland, where you can eat dinner at a Jewish-themed restaurant where non-Jewish waiters sing Hebrew songs, and when you're done, you can go to the market and buy a little statue figurine of a sort of hook-nosed, Hasidic-looking Jew holding a gold coin, which is a symbol of good luck for them. You can take a Jewish heritage tour of Spain. You can visit all kinds of cities where Jews used to live. You can check out their Jewish quarter, visit a restored synagogue or two, visit a Jewish museum. And actually, you can do this at all kinds of places around the world, including places where you probably can't even imagine that Jews ever lived. These past Jewish communities remain exactly that. They're in the past. And while they honor those dead Jews, most were removed from these places violently. Because people love dead Jews. Living Jews, not as much. And Jews forced to defend their right to live often reviled. More on that in just a bit. Today we're going to look at one such past Jewish community, the Jewish community of Salonika, Greece. The Salonika Jewish community at one time was one of the great hubs of European Jewry. 50,000 strong on the eve of World War II. It was a community known far and wide for Torah learning and also secular Jewish culture. It was primarily a Sephardic Jewish community because it was formed by Jews who were expelled from Spain, and their language was mostly Ladino. Of course, they spoke Greek as well. Ladino is a combination of Hebrew and Spanish, for those who don't know. The families there sent their kids through high school to Jewish schools for the most part, Torah learning academies, which were like yeshivot, or what they called secular alliance schools. And then they went to the public universities, where, unlike in most of the rest of Europe, Jews were actually welcomed without quotas or restrictions. They had a beautiful culture, songs, poetry. They called them cantigas, and they were written in Ladino and sometimes in Hebrew. The food was a Greek-Spanish fusion. Borekas, something called pastelikas, which is another kind of pastry stuffed with various meats and vegetables, and a stew called huevos pamanados, which is kind of like a cholent, but it's also kind of like shakshuka, because eggs are the base. And as I mentioned, on the eve of World War II, there were 50,000 Jews. By the end, fewer than 2,000. And most of that trauma was concentrated on a single day. It was July 11th, 1942, and they called it the Black Sabbath. They required 7,000 or so male Jews of a certain age to line up in the town square, and they registered them for work camps where they were deported. And the rest of the Jews, well, they got to stay in Salonika, but they had to move into a ghetto in what was called the Baron Hirsch neighborhood. And you can imagine what happened eventually. They were deported to Auschwitz, where most of them perished. They actually continued to write cantigas in Auschwitz. I'm going to share one of them with you. It probably reads better in Ladino, but it goes like this. Black, my dear, black is the life we lead. Fear flavors our dead. Fear dogs our footsteps. To the fountain I may not go. Everywhere there is a guard saying you're a prisoner of the Germans. But I have neither stolen nor killed. I am just a Jewish girl. And that's why they have imprisoned me here in Auschwitz. Despite all this, some of them survived, and some found their way right here to Oakland, California. They were members of all three of the main congregations here in Oakland, and they called themselves the Greek Mafia. They were very tight-knit. I don't think there was anything Mafia-like about them other than that they were one big family. Sally Elion is a member here. Her parents were refugees from Salonika. And the Sevis, Isaac and Paulette, who at least a few of you probably remember, they were like a Temple of Abraham power couple. And she was one of the main caterers in the kitchen, and he led Friday night services and morning minyan. He was one of the Gabayim of the synagogue. They were from this incredible, flourishing, beautiful, vibrant Jewish community that has mostly been consigned to the pages of history books. You can visit there. You can look at where the Jewish quarter was. You can look at some of the beautiful villas where some of the wealthier families had their homes seaside. You can visit a Jewish museum. There's even a Holocaust monument. But you're not going to find a lot of living Jews there. You will find some, There are still 2 synagogues, but they're barely hanging on. And oddly enough, in this place, you'll barely even find dead Jews. Because when the Jews were forced into the ghetto there, the cemetery, 20 generations of Salonika Jews were gone. The cemetery was desecrated and basically destroyed because there was a rumor that Jews had buried their treasures there. An incredible Jewish community. There are so many just like it, all over the world, places you never imagined Jews could possibly live. I could have picked so many. I picked Salonika because, well, number one, it goes with the theme this year, Greek or Greece, that we've had since Erev Rosh Hashanah, but also because this is a community that too many people don't know about, and it deserves to be remembered in all its beauty and glory. But as I said, there's so many just like it, each unique in the way they practice Judaism, each had a beautiful, unique Jewish culture, but the ending was almost always the same: expulsion or destruction, kicked out or killed. And it doesn't matter if that Jewish community assimilated well into their society, like in Spain or in Germany or in Persia, Iran, or if they weren't even allowed to assimilate, like much of Eastern Europe and the Middle East and North Africa and Ethiopia. Even in places where Jews tried to completely disavow their Judaism, like the former Soviet Union, Jews were some of the very best, most loyal communists, happy to leave their Judaism behind. But they too were purged, slaughtered, many of them, by Joseph Stalin. I'm sure that many of you, over the last couple of weeks, watched the Ken Burns documentary on the Holocaust. And you probably saw some parallels between these communities and what Ken Burns documented, and even with what's going on today in the world. I am not of the opinion that we're anywhere near there in America. But we also can't pretend that anti-Semitism isn't growing from every direction. It's everywhere. And this is true when Jews stand out, live in separate communities and are highly visible, like in New York, where Hasidic Jews are beaten up in the streets, as well as places where Jews just want to fit in, like in certain organizations or college campuses, where if they want to join, you have to check your connection to Israel at the door. No Zionists allowed. Just substitute the word Jew. The latest examples are at the University of Vermont and the Berkeley Law School. To be fair, though, I want to point out that UC Berkeley also has incredible measures to counter this. There's an entire Israeli law center there, fabulous Hillel, Chabad. The administration has reacted the way they should, but it's still a problem. And University of Vermont basically just denied it. The president of the University of Vermont just said, our Jewish students and faculty love it here. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I don't have time to get into it fully. Please look it up. I also can't pretend that I'm not frightened by some of the recent Supreme Court decisions, chipping away at individual rights and narrowing, or rather getting rid of the walls, some of the walls between church and state. Because that story's never really ended well for Jews anywhere. But we also can't pretend that anti-Semitism is only on the right wing. It's right wing and it's left wing and it's everything in between, and it's in categories that defy traditional language. Anti-Semitism is a virus. It mutates and it adapts, and that's why it can never really fully be eradicated. Which is why Theodor Herzl and others felt the need to create a Jewish state in the historical land of Zion, so Jews didn't have to live with this kind of fear every day. But it turns out that what it takes to live as Jews, when you're surrounded by enemies who make no secret of the fact that they want you wiped off the map constantly, that what it takes to live, and by that I mean just survive, is its own challenge. You have to have one of the strongest armies in the world, and then you have to be consistently told by most of the rest of the world that you can't use that army to defend your nation the way every other nation does. And I know that my words in the last paragraph offended some of you. I want to say I don't care, I care, but I still feel the need to give you my perspective. I also know that it's not the only way to look at it. And I myself am quite concerned about the next Israeli election coming up. But this is how I see it historically. People love dead Jews. Living Jews, sometimes those who have to defend their right to live, often reviled. And it's a matter of life and death. But when it comes to live and die, we're the same. Whether you're talking about modern Israel or ancient Greece. And we're still left with the same question. What are we supposed to do about it? I have an answer, actually. It's simple, really. That doesn't mean it's easy. In fact, if it were easy, there wouldn't be anti-Semitism. But it is simple. And that's that we must become, if we're not already, self-loving Jews. How many of you have heard the phrase self-hating Jews? Right? You know what that is, or maybe you don't know what it is. There's lots of definitions. I would define it as Jews who internalize the terrible things said about us and sometimes say them about other Jews. Well, this is the opposite. We have to become self-loving Jews. Jews who take pride in their Judaism, because people respect far more Jews who love Judaism than Jews who hide their Judaism. The anti-Semites don't. They don't respect anything. But there's an awful lot of wonderful people in the world. And if we want to be respected, we have to have a little pride in ourselves. How do we do that? Well, one way is to build communities, which you all do. I want to express my gratitude that you're here, a real-life, in-person community. I think 3/4 full on Rosh Hashanah, maybe 2/3 full right now. A lot of people watching online as well. Because only an in-person community can let us know that there are others who are going through what we're going through, can stem the isolation. I'm so glad you're here, but I also hope that we continue to build up our community and that I see you next week. I hope I see you on Shabbat morning for Kiddush lunches, or Friday night where attendance is not so high. Minyan, men's club programs, WTBA, adult education classes, dropping off your children at the Gan, the Beit Sefer, sending your children to our teen programs, BBYO, confirmation, 8th and 9th grade. Building community is kind of step A in becoming self-loving Jews. Step B, be loud and proud. Now, that is not easy either. There are times when I won't even tell people what I do for a living because I don't want to get into an uncomfortable conversation. I need to take the advice and the role modeling of Professor Deborah Lipstadt, now called the official U.S. envoy to combat and monitor anti-Semitism. She now wears her Star of David everywhere she goes, and she wants to get in the uncomfortable situations. And Dara Horn, author of People Love Dead Jews, she also wears her Jewish jewelry, and she's kind of doubled down on Jewish education. She does Daf Yomi, a page of Talmud every day. And what she says in the book is that she still follows the old news, and by that she's talking about anti-Semitism, but now she sometimes turns away from that old news to something even older, our beautiful ancient texts. And speaking of loud and proud, this week, one of the most bizarre things happened on TikTok. One of the top 3 videos was a 2007 performance of an Orthodox boys' Jewish choir singing a song called Yerushalayim in Hebrew. Okay? That's loud and proud. There are people who are really interested and really love and really respect Judaism. Loud and proud is the second step in becoming a self-loving Jew. And the final step is much more mystical. And I've told this story before. I'll probably tell it again after tonight too. It's a Midrash. It comes from Lamentations Rabbah. You have the enemies of the Jewish people, the enemies of Israel, trying to destroy us. And they seek advice from a wise man. And they ask the wise man, how can we destroy these Jewish people? And the wise man says, go around to their schoolhouses. If you hear the hum of children studying Torah, you cannot overcome these people. When we build up our communities, when we are loud and proud, when we teach our children well, then we create and become self-loving Jews. And the Jewish communities will not just remain in the pages of the history books of the past, but together we will build the Jewish future. Gamar Hatima Tova. Service continues with the Aleinu. Please rise, page 246. Page 248, Psalm 27. Psalm 27, then we'll go back and do, actually no, we'll do that, and then we'll go back and do the mortar scotch. So, actually 248, Psalm 27. Mourners and those observing York site, page 247. I want to mention that we are in the Shloshim for fear of Zach and just this week we lost Sheldon Schaefer. We miss him greatly. Page 247, Kadisha. Yit Gadal, Yit Gadash, Shabei Rabbah. Amen. Yalman, Yifrah, Yirpeh, Ve'ahlif Malchuteh, V'chayecham, V'yomecham, V'chayedol, Beit Yisrael, V'agalah, V'zman Karev, V'Ibru. Amen. Yidei Shnei, V'adam Torah, V'emanol, V'yomaya, V'barach, V'yishtabach, V'pahar, V'yomam, V'yitnaseh, V'itadar, V'italev, V'italal, Shemei Kucha, V'refu, V'adela, V'adela, V'kover, V'atav, V'shata, V'shtabata, V'yamata, 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 Amen. There's a few announcements, additions to tomorrow, which I probably should have written down, but I'll try to remember as I go through the ticket. So, children's services, family services at 9, youth services at 9:45, main services are at 9:30. The Yizkor service time is approximate on the ticket as 11. We make no guarantees, so about the timing, so please come. At the end of Yom Kippur morning is the Birkat Kohanim. It's the only time we do it here, so those who are Kohanim will have an instruction sheet, and Marshall Langfeld will help guide you through the process. And so we will do that where the Kohanim go underneath the talits, and it's a beautiful, beautiful part of the ceremony. 2 p.m. in the chapel is a study session with Rabbi Berlin. Do you know the topic, or do we want to announce it or no?
Afterlife and Yom Kippur.
Afterlife and Yom Kippur. Beautiful. The services, there was an email that went out. Martyrology and Mincha will start at 4:30. The individual blessings we're not going to do this year. I see that we cut and pasted some things and I didn't edit it carefully enough. So Martyrology and Mincha starts at 4:30. At the very end of Ne'ilah, which will be between 7:15 and 7:20, we will have the group shofar below. Anyone who can make a tekiah gadolah out of their shofar is welcome to bring it and to come and blow that final tekiah gadolah. This weekend, in addition to Shabbat services, well, first of all, Shabbat services on Saturday, it is the one-year yortzeit for Cantor Richard Kaplan, blessed memory, and we'll be honoring him. I'll be speaking about him, and we'll definitely have a nice attempt at a rousing Hallelujah, 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 Adonai. And then on Sunday, come help the men's club build the sukkah at 10 a.m. All right. So I got the sort of logistics things. I think I got them all. David, anything to add? Or? A big thank you to David and all the past presidents as well for sitting up here tonight. To Hazni Yael for beautiful Kol Nidre. To Megan Chartier for also beautiful Kol Nidre on the cello. Both of you uplifting us where we need to be uplifted, and also making sure we're in a mood of contemplation as we think about where we've missed the mark and how we can improve. We're going to conclude now, I think, with a Don Olam on 249. Could be Gal on 250, whatever Hazni Yael wants to do. Thank you to Josh Mailman for streaming and making sure it went out on YouTube. Thank you to Leah Edelstein for a beautiful rendition of Vinu Malkeinu. L'Shana Tova Techatemu. May you all be sealed for a good year. See many of you tomorrow.